One of the things that we want to do is try to figure out if an error occurred in our pull requests. You can find this while clicking here on the pull requests and inspecting your pull requests. Here you see red cross or changes requested. These are pull requests that you have to yourself fix, and we will be approving them after you have done the fix. Sometimes you see also a green one. If that is here in for a longer period of time, you also may want to take another look at that and see if there's anything that you can see that is wrong. If not, we will be approving it in time. So let's take a look at one of those pull requests. So we are looking at the first one here. You can actually find the changes, and checks are being done via our continuous integration. You can find them either on check, or when you're going down here and see, for example, the build error, and you can click on details. So when we click on details, we get another screen. In here we are seeing more details being provided to us by Circle CI at the end. So in order to find them, and we click on this window only gives an overview. So let's click on it. Now we are going to Circle CI, and we are seeing here a build error, and in this build error we can click on the exclamation mark or the build error text there. Let's do this, and we see here the error being reported, and this is a pretty interesting error because the student has actually an outdated fork. We can tell because Circle CI was at that time not yet integrated. And so there is no chance for this particular student that we will ever accept that particular pull request, because the fork that he's working on is completely out of date. He would have to save his changes and create a new fork, delete the old fork, and create a new pull request. The other pull request that we have, let's take another look at that one. This particular student has submitted a lot of technologies and made a lot of changes throughout the time, so that's pretty good. However, it would maybe be easier to just do a pull request for each one of these technologies separately, so that the chance of a rejection is minimized. So let's take a look of what this particular student has actually done and what the errors are. So we are going out and see, for example, in file changes, the student can already inspect that in themselves what they have done, because they see all the differences. And we see, for example, he's using a wrong quote or potentially a wrong dash. Instead of a minus sign, he's using a minus sign from ASCII characters, and that's because he's probably using Windows, Microsoft Word, or some other editor that doesn't use normal ASCII standards. So we are going back and try now to look at the check in more detail and see if the check is actually being reported, what we already saw with our own eyes. So we're going to our Circle CI, and we just go there. We click on the build, and here let's click on the exclamation mark, and here we have the checks being reported. And we see there is clearly one check already failing, and that's the one for the quotes, and it shows me exactly the line. It also showcases now why it's advantageous to have only 80 character lines, because our checks would report the entire line where the error occurs. So they're not that sophisticated or highlight the error, but just the entire line. So if you have only 80 characters, it's easier to see where the error occurs, rather than having a line that's 200 or so characters long, like in this particular case. So as you can see, this is the client's error that we point out before is clearly marked here. And you can just visit this for every pull request that you have that occurs with such an error, and it's easy to find out what you need to be changing. So let's go back to the pull requests again and see if there's anything else that we need to be explaining. Thank you very much. I think that was it, and hope you have an easier time dealing with this.